What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Pure Evil MMA. I'm your host, like always, Evil Eddie. Just finishing up with UFC Long Island. So happy, first off, that they brought it back to the East Coast. Usually I'm against this because there's been some issues in the past when they've had the events in New York City. You know how that all goes. But tonight, overall, it was a great card from top to bottom. And usually you wouldn't expect that because, one, it's free. And they usually have people that they're trying to build up. I'm not saying that no name fighters are bad. Any fighter that's in the UFC is a champion in their own right. You always hear me say this. Let me let the dog out really quick. Oscar, come on, go. There we go. My mother was actually at a concert tonight, believe it or not, going to see a Grateful Dead cover band. So you're going to hear the dogs be barking for another minute or so. But overall, it was a great card. I'm going to ask you guys, what do you rate it out of 5 stars? I want to hear what you guys have to say. We got the open chat room. Going into this, Chris Weidman could have possibly been on a 4-fight losing streak. That would have been awful. And here's the thing about that. It's not like any of those losses were awful. He wasn't really finished. Oh, he was. So let's rewind, all right? He was the champion. He was the man to knock out the one and only GOAT in my book for the UFC, Anderson Silva. I'll never forget that fight. The entire place went crazy. The roof almost blew off. Everyone was in shock. It was like you heard your grandmother died or something. So the future looked bright for Chris Weidman. He had a couple of surgeries here and there, but that matchup with Luke Rockhold is what really set him back. It could have been the 67 unanswered shots that he had. I forgot who the ref was that night. Maybe Herb Dean. Probably Herb Dean. Didn't call the fight. Luke Rockhold was just going ham on him, and then he finishes him off in the next round. So after that, Chris Weidman wasn't really the same in a lot of people's eyes. And here's the thing. It's not like he was doing awful in those fights. The last fight that he had against... oh, man. I'm drawing a freaking blank right here. The last fight that he had... Gegard Mousasi, against Gegard Mousasi. He didn't do that bad. He got hit with a big knee and he just was knocked out pretty much. But I wanted to see them run it back. Instead, they traded him off to Bellator, which I'm not mad at. So before that fight, he also fought someone else, and I can't... Yoel Romero at UFC 205, and he wasn't doing bad at all in that fight either. Let's not forget, he won the first and second round. He looked amazing. And then it all went downhill with that flying knee. So that put him on a 3-fight losing streak. It really all came down to this. Now, there was a lot of pressure on his back because he's fighting at home in Long Island. He really wanted to fight in New York at UFC 205. He got it, and it left a salty taste in his mouth because he didn't get the win that night. That was going to put him back in title contention. He could have been next up for the rematch against Luke Rockhold. Speaking of Luke Rockhold, it was announced tonight. It's kind of weird. I'm not really excited for it. But Luke Rockhold is now matched up against David Branch, which as soon as I heard that, I was like, what? That's the main event? I'm not feeling that. I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but last couple of fights that David Branch has been in really haven't been that exciting. He's a great wrestler. We'll see how it goes. But I don't know. I wasn't too into that matchup. There's so many other people I'd rather have him fight. But Chris Weidman goes in tonight. Pressure was on his back. Everyone was behind him. You got Kelvin Gastelum, who's just been an absolute tear lately. Beating Vitor Belfort, Derek Brunson, or not Derek Brunson. Yeah, Derek Brunson. You beat Derek Brunson. He was just going on a straight Legends tour, taking out one after another, looking amazing. So I was a little worried about Chris Weidman, but I was paying attention to my Twitter, and I love watching the weigh-ins. And I always tell you guys, don't make your predictions until you see the weigh-ins. Try to pick up on the atmosphere, the vibe, the energy that the fighters are giving off. Not that it gives away too much, but you can pick up a sense. And also when they're standing next to one another, facing off, the height difference there. I thought that was going to be a big thing for tonight's matchup. So, Weidman did great. He landed a couple big right hands, stayed on the outside, leaving off with the kicks, and he got 7 takedowns. Halfway through the fight, in the third round, he was up to 7. Maybe it even ended at 8 takedowns. Kelvin Gastelum was just getting frustrated in there. Not that he looked bad, but he was just getting smothered. Chris Weidman gets the submission win in round 3. And I got to tell you guys, I called a knockout in round 4. I was sticking with Chris. A lot of people lost faith in Chris Weidman. Now here's a reminder. So let me ask you guys this. Let me know on Twitter or in the live stream. Who do you want to see Chris Weidman go up against next? He's got the win. He's got rid of that awful losing streak. It would have been so bad if he went on a 4-fight losing streak. A lot of people would have been upset. And people were questioning, is the UFC going to get rid of him if he lost tonight? I didn't think so at all. Chris Weidman's such a big name. And like I just said, it's not like he lost in brutal fashion. It's not like he lost what he had. You know, you could say that the surgeries or whatever, but he got the win tonight. It was at home. The vibe was great. I love it. Chris Weidman gets the submission win in the 3rd round. Let's talk about my personal pick for fight of the night. And I called this before the fight even happened. No one was talking about this for some reason, which I thought was kind of weird. Jimmy Rivera against Thomas Almeida. There he is, our man right there, Jimmy Rivera. Checking out Tiger Schulman's here on the East Coast. So going into this matchup, Thomas Almeida's only lost 1 fight in his entire professional career, and it was against Cody Nola. Jimmy Rivera was on a 19-fight winning streak going into this fight. You know, I've had Jimmy on my show before a couple times. I think I've had him on about 3 times in the past on Pure Evil MMA and Evil Intoxicated with me and Ted Check. And he was really trying to call out Dominic Cruz. You know, he pretty much retired Uriah Faber. You know, the last fight that Faber had was against Brad Pickett. Let's face it, though. He really did put a beating on Uriah Faber. And he told me in the interview that we had that when he went over to train with Team Alpha Male for a little bit, you know, he was expecting a lot. He's training with the elite guys over there. The current champ at the time, this is 2 years ago now, guys, that he went to do this, was TJ Dillashaw. And he was sparring with TJ Dillashaw. I actually have the footage. I'm not going to tell you how I got the footage, but I got the footage. I'll share it later on today. He was sparring with TJ Dillashaw. Man, he was piecing him up. He also was sparring with Cody Nola. And he told me, he was like, after that, my morale jumped up. My confidence, it was just such a confidence boost because I realized, you know, these are supposed to be the elite athletes. This is the champion. I can do this. He really believed in himself after that moment. Well, here they are, match him up with Thomas Almeida. And every time Thomas is in a fight, I get excited because you never know what's going to happen. He has a very weird style. He has that liver punch. He has a whole bunch of weapons. You know, the inside leg kick like he was working tonight. You never know what's going to happen. He's just explosive. He even hurt Jimmy at one point tonight. But going into this fight, that very first round, let's see how I scored this first round, matter of fact. You know, I am jumping a little out of order. I scored that first round for Jimmy Rivera. You know, 21-1 record. And he dropped Thomas twice in that very first round. So the new rules are now in effect. So you got to remember, that was most likely, on a lot of people's cards, 10-8. Shout out to Nick Portella, who, tweeted that out to me tonight. He was like, that could have been a 10-8 round. He was really putting the damage, the word of the night. Get it tattooed on my chest. But he was really laying the damage down on Thomas Almeida. But Almeida started coming back. He had his moments in the second round. So this could have gone either way going into that 3rd round. But Jimmy Rivera, man, you know, the takedowns, he was laying down the beautiful right hand combinations. And Thomas Almeida, every time he would go in the pocket, Jimmy Rivera would clip him. He was a little wild a couple of times, but every time it would land. Thomas Almeida got hurt bad. At the end of the fight, Thomas Almeida had 2 huge hematomas on his eyes. 2 black eyes. Thomas Almeida is a dangerous fighter, man. He came into the UFC undefeated. A lot of people's favorite fighter, favorite prospect. He was one of my favorite prospects in 2015, 2016. Always puts on an exciting fight. Like I said in my predictions and on the podcast, I didn't see this going to end in the 1st or 2nd round. I really thought this was going to go to a decision. We said that a lot in Jimmy Rivera's fights. Somebody tweeted out, I think it was Luke Thomas. He was like, you know, Jimmy Rivera doesn't have a flashy style. He just sticks to his his base. He sticks to, you know, the jab, the hooks. He's not a flashy fighter. He's not really going in there to put on a show. He's going in there with his game plan, and it works. He always has 3 plans going in there. If A doesn't work, if B doesn't work, he goes back to C, and he has great people in his corner over there at Tiger Schulman's. So I think that was personally my favorite fight of the night. I mean, there were a lot of other great fights here that we're going to review in just a second, but let me know what you guys think about that on YouTube. What's next for Thomas Almeida? Somebody called out Marlon Moraes, who's another World Series of Fighting champion that came over to the UFC, who took on, in his debut, Rafael Assunção. So I say match Jimmy Rivera up with Rafael Assunção now. Match Marlon Moraes up Thomas Almeida. That's the right thing to do. I think Thomas was ranked 9th. I think Jimmy was ranked 5th tonight. I don't think his ranking is going to move up. I don't think Thomas is going to move down. But moving forward, I think those are two great matchups. He did make the call out for Dominic Cruz. Great idea. You have to do that now. Fighters get mad, but the fighters should have some idea of who they want to fight next. Even if it's a long shot. Look at Nate Diaz. No one thought Nate Diaz was going to fight Conor McGregor. That was such a long shot. Not even the same division. Called him out, and look what happens. It was one of the best fights that we've had in the past couple of years. Hopefully we're going to see the trilogy soon. And it's all because Nate Diaz took that shining moment to call him out. I think 5 fighters called Conor McGregor out that night, matter of fact. You know, you have to use the camera time. You have thousands, maybe millions of people watching. You put on an exciting fight like that, make the most of it. Have an idea of who you want to call out. You know, some people are laughing, like Dominic Cruz is not going to take that fight. Dominic Cruz is going to wait for the TJ versus Nola fight. That's what he's going to do. Which I believe is going to be going down at UFC 215. But Dominic Cruz, it's been a while since Cruz fought. I think it was the end of 2016. Now we're halfway through, a little more than halfway through 2017 now. He's a great position at, commentating or analyzing these fights. I'm not, going to bash him on that. I think he's great at it. But come on, you got to stay active. You got to stay active. Somebody has done a 20-fight win streak, man. I hope that there's more people getting behind Jimmy Rivera after tonight. What a great performance. And shout out to Jimmy Rivera. Who do you guys want to see him fight next? Let me know on Twitter at Pure Evil MMA. All right, so another great fight. Charles Oliveira with the walk-off knockout over LaFleur. Now, Flair won that very first round, and Brian Stann was actually, he was like, Cowboys in there. He's not taking this seriously. He's smiling too much. You got to be serious about this fight. In his last fight, he was serious and he did damage. Don't tell somebody not to smile. This is the way that he deals with it. He's a happy guy. I mean, there was one moment in the UFC that I didn't like about Charles Oliveira in the fight. I think it was against Aljamain Sterling, where he was mouthing off after the fight. It was kind of a dirty finish, and he started mouthing off to him. I wasn't into that. All right, so Villante versus Cummins. Now, I thought this fight was going to end in the very first round. Oh, well, let me rewind a little bit. I had Cummins winning this. I thought he would get the knockout in the second round. John Villante, in his past couple of fights, he just seems... He goes in the first round, which we saw tonight, pieces his opponent up, then he just kind of falls apart. I don't know. He doesn't set up his strikes, his uppercuts. He just falls apart. You can hear his corner screaming every time. In that very first round, he rocked Cummins. I thought Cummins was all finished. He was not there. The third time that he got punched in a row. All right, so this is what happened. Villante rocks Cummins. He takes a step back. Villante keeps moving forward, gets him again. Cummins keeps coming forward. He's like, all right, you want another one? Lands another one. As he landed that one, Cummins drops to a knee. I was like, oh my God, screaming at my TV. Probably set a couple car alarms off. I thought it was all over that. I thought he was going to jump on it and finish it. Cummins was able to recover. Villante was laying in the hammer fist. It looked great in that first round. Possible 10-8 first round for Villante. He had the East Coast behind him, training alongside Chris Weidman. He had Stipe, the champ, in his corner, in the land. He had Stipe in his corner. He's still a young fighter, so I don't want to throw too much shade on Villante. I mean, he's fighting at the top. He's fighting elite fighters. Cummins is no joke. Cummins had a huge cut on his head. There was a point in that fight which really saved him. I think it was in the first round where there was a headbutt, I believe. Cummins started pouring out blood. The ref had to split him up. Was it? If I recall. But you know what? Cummins was only doing one shot. Like he just had loaded up on one shot, and that was it. No, not really any combos or anything. Jabs, uppercuts, just all missed opportunities for Villante. He's getting better every fight, but I just get so frustrated. Another reason why I didn't pick him tonight. He had either he was going to finish it in the first round, or that was it. Remember the last fight he had with Shogun Rua? You know, I just get so frustrated with that. And he's improving, but you know, I'd be smart about his next matchup. You know, it's just a sad thing. I think now he's on a 2-fight losing streak, which is awful. It's awful. And it's not like he's a horrible fighter. Both losses have gone to decision, and he didn't really take much damage in either fight. So Cummins comes out with the decision win. This is why I didn't pick Jean Villante. And I know there's a lot of you guys out there that are huge fans, but there's a reason why I couldn't pick him tonight. I wouldn't put money on him. It was just a risk. Like I said, he's new to the sport. We'll see what happens. He has a great camp, great people on his side. They'll look back at tonight's footage and fix the mistakes. I thought they would have done that with the Shogun fight. He'll figure it out. We'll see him back in there soon. Shout out to Cummins, getting the win tonight, winning the second and third round without a doubt. Dennis Bermudez going against Elkins in this fight. Elkins was going to retire not too long ago. He was gonna hang up the belt, or hang up the gi, so to say. Dennis Bermudez coming off a loss. One of my favorite fights so far in 2017 has been Dennis Bermudez versus the Korean Zombie. Korean Zombie rocks, knocks out Dennis Bermudez after being away for 2 years in the service. You know, Dennis Bermudez is a very well-rounded fighter. He's a short dude. He's quick. But Darren Elkins was capitalizing every time Bermudez was loading up and whiffing with those heavy overhands or the hooks. He was capitalizing, just jumping on him. The takedowns, beautiful. Bermudez slipped. Elkins was all over. Even got him in the body triangle lock. Bermudez was somehow able to get away. But Elkins just capitalizes every time somebody makes the smallest mistake. That's what wins him fights. I thought Bermudez had what it takes. I thought Bermudez was going to come out with a decision win tonight. I don't know what was going on there. He was just swinging for the fences. Darren Elkins, man, shout out to that guy. Really capitalizing on every mistake Bermudez has made. Bermudez is an elite athlete, coming off the Ultimate Fighter. He's been doing it for quite some time. I thought he would have what it took. I thought he would have better wrestling, better striking. Elkins, man, congratulations, 2-fight win streak. And let's not forget, he has one of the best comebacks in 2017, possibly one of the best comebacks in the past 5 years. Lost the first 2 rounds in his last fight. Was able to come back, lands a beautiful kick, and finishes his opponent off. Beautiful. Elkins down on a 2-fight win streak. Congratulations to him. But Dennis Bermudez is no joke. That's a huge win in Elkins' book. Bringing the W back home. And if you talk to this guy, you know he's a fighter. He's got hit in the head so many times. He's a little slow. You know, those hits in the head are catching up to him. This is why a huge reason why a lot of fighters are learning not to go so hard in the gym sparring. I'm not saying that it's definitely that. Maybe he was like that his entire life. But he's a little slow in my opinion. But he's a monster. He's always pushing forward, pouring the pressure on, and like I said, capitalizing on every little mistake Bermudez made tonight. That's what won him the fight tonight, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But overall, tonight, guys, man, 7 out of 13 picks correct for me here at Pure Evil MMA. Shout out to Maximum Power, who came in first place tonight with their predictions on UFC Pick'em. If you guys are checking this out and you want to jump into our Pure Evil MMA UFC Pick'em League, all you got to do is tweet me right down below. That is my Twitter. Where is it? Over there, at Pure Evil MMA, or my personal page at Evil_Echo. Let me know what you thought about tonight's fights, guys. I'm reading tonight's card 4 out of 5 stars. Easily. Let's see how many finishes there were. 1, 2, 3. I think there was, 7 finishes? 7 out of 13? I don't know. Somebody's got to go back and correct me with that. Lyman Good tonight. I forgot to mention Lyman Good. I thought he was going to come out with the W tonight. He lost every round against Dos Santos, who was away for 2 years. Right? Am I right with that? He was away for 2 years? Lyman Good found himself in some trouble, but was able to come back. USADA screwed the test up. I don't know what happened, but there was a moment when he sent out this picture on Instagram of him and the Holy War Angel, Wale Bambojang. They're flexing, and they both look absolutely ripped. Lyman Good looked a little too ripped, and USADA went and tested him. They found something in the system, but long story short, it ended up being okay. He was cleared from that. USADA cleared him, and he made the return. Doesn't win tonight, though. Lost every round, and it was a war. It was an absolute war. Great fight. But, Lyman Good wasn't able to get the W tonight. But let's rewind, guys. My fight of the night is going to Rivera versus Almeida. I think that was an amazing fight. Then, of course, Chris Weidman getting the submission win over Kelvin Gastelum. Woo! Great card. I'm giving it 4 out of 5. What did you guys think? Let me know on Twitter. I hope that you guys enjoyed tonight's card. In full. Cowboy Oliveira, man. A great comeback. Losing that first round. Coming back with the walk-off knockout. Give that guy 50K. Give that man 50K. Burgos with the win. Natal, man, I don't know what was going on with him. He just wasn't there to me. I don't know what's going on with Natal. I picked Natal to win. He just didn't seem there. Anders, absolutely freaking amazing. Natal, there was a moment in that fight. He got rocked and ran head first into the cage. I'm sure somebody's going to get the gift for that. Or I'll retweet it if I find it. But I was like, oh my God, he might have just cracked his neck. He might have just knocked himself out. What a night, guys. I'm giving it 4 out of 5 stars. Congratulations to Chris Weidman. Shout out to Kelvin Gastelum, man. He's 25 years old. He's still got a lot to learn. Chris Weidman, the former champion, comes back, putting an end to the losing streak. I'm Evil Eddie, guys, from Pure Evil MMA. Make sure to subscribe down below. Check out the podcast, Apple, iTunes, Podbean, wherever podcasts are found. Have a good night. One last thing. Behave yourselves.